text to be clear. All right, so I'll mark it already. And so I literally can't hear a k, so it sounds like take my feeling. Yeah, so take my feeling, right? You almost want to put it, let's see, take my feeling, like on the 16th note before the note my. Okay, one more time. And again, just a little more height in the vowel, more depth, so that there's a low sense of support and lift its soft palate. So breathe in that sort of spaciousness. Ready? Da, da, ba, ba.
Take my feeling, take my sighs, take my breeze, take my time, let me hear the singing roar of air before I swore
So I really liked the intensity at the beginning, but I felt like there wasn't much more to give when we got to 74. Do you notice that that has an FF, whereas the beginning of this is just one F? So I want you to kind of gauge what that means. So think about where we're coming from, right? This whole few kind of ish section right before in chains and chains and chains. So you turn the page, and it shouldn't be so loud that it feels like you've already maxed out. Okay, and note it says pleading. So it's not so much like really this, but take my feeling. Like there's a little bit of that with room to grow, so that when you get to let me hear the searing, that's where it gets a little more sort of big. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So just map that out. Yeah. Good job on the k, okay? So let's keep all of the diction nice and strong. So let me, those T's, let me hear, H, all those types of things. Okay, one more time. I feel like also you're sort of behind me, right? So 60, and then how do the triplets work then, right? So on the word side, sa, take my, and then there's like a rit on top of that. So just really watch and see if you can simplify those quarter beats into like triplets before you get to the actual triplets. All right, one more time. Ready? 3 and 4.
Take my feeling, take my sighs, take my breeze, take my trust, let me hear the singing roar of air before I swore the
Awesome. I think the triplets we just need to kind of work that out again. So let's go to, for instance, 72. So the piano, orchestra piano, is playing triplets, right? So can you play for us, Debbie, what you have at 72, if this is my time? While you're just holding here, you want to, and you're watching this go on, you want to think, dee da ba, dee da ba, dee da ba. And then when you get to the actual bracketed triplet, right? He, let me, so then you get into the duples for each of those triplet bracketed notes. Does that make sense? Okay, so I want you to do this for me. Can you go, let me, So we're just doing those 4 words, okay? Ready, and
let me hear.
So on that rest, right, you're going you go into sort of 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 more time and
Let me hear.
I have to stay in a 4, so you guys have to do that. Okay? How about this? Can you go 1 and the 2 and the 3, ba ba ba. So 1 and the 2 and the 4, 5 and That doesn't make sense, but anyway, you see what I'm doing, right? One more time, subdividing. Ready, and exactly. And that same thing happens, right, at 70. Same thing happens. So I take my. Okay, and the writ, just watch me for the writ. I guess that doesn't happen on trumpet, so that's good. Okay, one more time, singing now. If I could make sure, sopranos and tenors, can you go just make sure that the D flat is nice and high, true minor second, so that we get a little more of a crunch. I feel like we're not quite crunching as much as we need to. Ready, and boom!
Take my feeling, take my sighs, take my wings, if life has left me here, let me hear the searing roar of it, before I score the
Much better, very good. So this is going to be really uncomfortably long. I'm going to wait till the piano has almost died out, and we just freeze. Good. I want you to breathe in an ooh, so that when you make your W, the ooh is what we have behind the w. Ready? Almost. Play this thing. I tell my students that think of that A as so. I don't know, maybe you don't do solfege, right? So think of it as 5, right? So you have 5, 6, 1, and that becomes like your new tonality, if that makes sense. Okay, one more time. Breathe in, ooh.
silence.
Good, so breathe in that ah. Silence. Okay, so that S happens just at the tip, right there, and
Silence is God's.
yes, and that has to crescendo. Is God. On the word God, you have to crescendo right on that one beat. One more time on silence.
Silence is God's reply. And so I beg me.
And so this has to be almost like you're crying out, right? So tenors, you're gonna sort of give us a little bit more since it's more in your range. I know baritones have that too, so don't be afraid to sing out a little bit and make it sound very emotional. Okay? Right there. Can we have a fresh sharp? Thank you. Ready, low breath,
And so I beg me.
yes, but I need beg me. Much more good. And almost like you don't want to leave the word beg, right? And so I beg. So really take that tenuto to heart. Here we go. And 1.
And so I beg me.
Good.
Take.
Okay, can you make more just an e vowel? Take. So no diphthong and.
Take my life.
Yes, and those I would like detached. My life. Okay, kind of like how we're doing a lot of the Beethoven 9, lots of detachment. Okay, one more time from take. There you go. And right.
Take my life.
Yes. Let's see, how can I say this? So my and then life, full of diphthong. It's a diphthong, right? So you want to, just like what I've talked about, how you breathe in is very important. So breathe in an ah for my, right? So when you make your consonant, your vowel is already in position. My life. Does that make sense? So you just create the yeah, right? My life, just with the front part, just with your lips. You don't have to do much change with your jaw. Again? That take was very good.
Take my life.
Yes, can I give that to you? Again.
Take my life.
That's the idea. And then everyone? Yeah, so not whispered. Can you have it quasi-whispered, a little more tone? And so kind of like a, think deeper. And take my life. That's the idea. Do you see the color difference? It's not just take, but it's take. It's a little more like a darker color. Okay. And then again, those lungas, right? It will feel like forever up here. So we have to stay absolutely still and centered. Okay, I promise you, you're going to be thinking, like, okay, what's happening now? Okay, but those silences are absolutely critical to how it is perceived by the audience. Okay? I'm not even going to cue the next part. Trinity will then just start and play as softly as possible. Okay? All right, so then. So let's try that one more time. Tenors and basses, the triplet idea has to happen here too at measure 91, right? Cuando I grace, right? So if you can sort of, we don't have it, it's not as easy because we don't have like some long elf notes, but if you can sort of make that subdivision, let's see if we can do it. And then altos are gonna sneak in. But this whole thing, even though it's you sneak in, it has to be still very much supported. Like you're going. So please don't feel like it doesn't have that groundedness. Can I get the measure they come in? Thank you. So 1, 2, I wonder if I should just conduct that triplet. I'm just changing a little bit. Let me try conducting that and see. There's literally nothing else going on, so it might work okay. Here we go. Tenor spaces. Here's 90. So 1, 2, 3.
I hear
the eighth notes, right? So when places like on beat 4, when we get to the word fall and name and claim, right? But especially fall and name, right? Autumn, fall, I make. So those 16th notes, you still have to kind of be feeling da, da, that subdivision. Otherwise, we sort of, I'm kind of waiting for you, you're kind of waiting for me, then it becomes like this, this domino effect. So just speak for me that text. So now as leave. So again, very tall and very minimal, right? Try to go from vowel to vowel, syllable to syllable, with the most minimal changes that you could make inside, right? Can you keep the basic openness of those vowels? Okay, so now, ready, and so now as leaves of autumn fall, I make my mark and sign my name, and turn again to touch my flame of music to the world. Do you see every measure has just a little bit of a stretch before we go on to the next one? Now, we have another triplet to sort of conquer here on the word leaves and mark. Do you see that? Okay, so the word as is another place where you can subdivide into 3. So you have so, now, as, leaves, of. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's speak that from so. Ready? And so now as leaves of. Yeah. So I literally want you to draw 3 slashes over the word as, because I want you to subdivide that word into 3 parts. So now as. Okay, so now as leaves. So then when you get leaves, whatever that pulse was for as, gets 4. Okay, so as leaves. Okay, just do that for me. Go as leaves. And we should meet right on the beat. Ready? And as leaves. Exactly. Again, and. Now, do that inside, but actually just speak the actual rhythm. Okay, ready? Let's go from so. Ready? Speaking. So now as leaves of autumn fall, I make my mark and sign my name, and turn again to touch my stretch it out. Flame of music to the world. You guys got it. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Okay, and then when we get to 101, make sure, especially 101, that it keeps crescendoing. Not a lot, but just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. And that the releases are exactly as written. The releases are exactly as written. And a 4, right? Tenors and basses carry the next measure, 102 all the way. Sopranos and altos releasing. Oh my gosh, I'm already running out of time. Okay, I have to move on because we have to get to the sort of choreo, it's not choreo, but page 15. I want to explain what's happening. Okay, so basically page 15, what has to happen is when the sopranos and altos end up holding the end, okay, you guys will be the first ones to sort of gradually lower your gaze, almost imperceptibly so that by the time the tenors and basses sing yours, everyone is looking basically kind of down, but in a way where you can still kind of see peripherally what's happening up here. So that's going to be slightly different for everyone based on where you are and whether you're up on a double riser or a triple riser or seated, etc. Tenors and basses, you have to kind of sing as ever faithfully. So I'm going to have you sort of not maybe go as much as the sopranos and altos, but as soon as you sing Faith, maybe, then you can kind of lower. And I'm trying to give a big enough cue on yours where you're all looking down. Okay, so then we're all looking down. S's and A's are still singing N. And then when I give the downbeat for 112, and I'm not going to be big because the instructions are only you should see me, not the audience. Okay, I'm going to go 1. And you're all going to look somewhere beyond the audience's heads, some corner, as if you heard a bell and you're thinking, did I hear something? Does that make sense? You kind of, and it doesn't have to be very like jerky, but if everyone does it when I go 1, and you sort of look around, and you're still ending, right? S's and A's, and then tenors and basses go up, right? Up, and then on the last measure, after they finish singing that twice, then you sort of realize you imagined it. So as we silently turn the page if we're using music, then you guys continue hear me and me well, and then you turn your gaze gradually back towards me. So can we just try that? Because I know we haven't done that. And we'll practice it obviously with the orchestra. So let's go from our humming, pick up to 107. And then you just do that like 6 or 7 more times. Okay, and a few chamber choir members will be singing just a few little sounds there. Does that make sense? Okay. Here? Hi. Okay. Dang it. Okay, so I think the takeaway from me today is obviously that part that we just did, but it's the triplet thing. If you can sort of practice that, because once the orchestra's here next week, right, that's going to be pretty critical that your entrances and rhythms for those are a lot more solid on that. Yeah, and then just diction. That's what I would say. Okay? Gosh, time is